Here's the park at night. We're waiting for the parking lot to clear out before we drive to go to sleep. So this is day 2 of our Cedar Point trip and our second time going to Cedar Point this summer. So, and this is our second.
It's our second trip.
Like our second trip.
This is our 5th day going.
5th day, but second like trip out here. So we got to the park at about 8:15, and we were the first car in our entrance stall. So as soon as the parking attendants were ready to open the gates, we were the first car in our side. They opened the gates at 8:30.
And we always like try to get our other stuff done. We like to try to use the restroom before we get to the park so we don't have to waste our time on the rides to do that. And then Kate gave us a good weather forecast today. She's like, there is a 0% chance of rain today.
Well, it was super, super sunny. There was no clouds in the sky, and it was really hot. And so I was like, there is 0% chance of it raining today. I'm going to wear a hat and sunglasses, and it's going to be a scorcher today.
Yep.
So,
Kate
little
tried to
foreshadowing right there.
do her. But anyways, today we decided to do the Maverick first, and so we ran all the way down to the Maverick, and then...
The Steal Vengeance is usually closed in the morning, and so Maverick usually gets going first. Today was not the case.
So I got to take a nap for about another hour,
While
maybe
we watched
longer.
the Steal Vengeance start, and the Maverick was still shut down, and so James laid down and took a nap.
So I decided to waste the time by taking a nap because I was still kind of tired, and Kate used her time to do something very
productive. I was very productive. So my phone is really old and it dies really fast, and so I have a battery pack, but I've been trying to save my battery life, and I didn't want to like use it all by 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. waiting for the ride. So while James was laying down on the concrete taking his nap, I decided to create a whole empty patch on his leg.
Like on my knees.
And this one little patch.
Knee, yeah.
The top of his thigh to his knee. It was like a patch like this big, and I completely cleared it out.
It was painful.
I was really proud of myself. I kind of hyper-focused on it for a good hour. While James attempted to sleep. He tried to trade legs a few times, but I was really fixated on that spot, and so I wouldn't let him. But I guess his leg hurt and he wanted a break. But
yeah, so we eventually got on the ride, and today we were able to do it in the front row.
The guy didn't even care. He was just like standing to the side watching everyone go on.
So we were on like the second round or whatever, because we were like probably 5th in line today or something like that. So we got on the it was really like the 3rd car that left, but the second round. And so we did that ride. After we got off the ride, we looked at the line, and it was probably an 1.5 to 2 hour line right after.
Which was crazy, right at the beginning.
So we decided to leave that ride, and then we were going to the Millennium Force, which is about a 10-minute walk from there. And it's also right next to the Panda Express, where we get our food. So we waited for that ride for probably 40 minutes or so, maybe less. And we did that one in the back, because we usually like to do that ride in the back. And when we were doing that ride, both Kate and I both felt like we were like blacking out.
It was pretty intense.
It was a good like 5 seconds where I was just like
until the first tunnel I like couldn't see anything.
Yeah, it was more intense, and then so it was a little bit scary during that point, but I don't know, it's kind of crazy. You just hope that you don't pass out.
Kind of like on the Titan, when you just get tunnel vision and everything just like going black.
Yeah, mine wasn't black, mine was more like light. I could just see light.
Oh, mine was black.
The line for that one also increased, so the line for that was about 2 hours after we got done.
Really long.
And so we then went and ate our Panda Express because it was 11 o'clock by that time. So from 9 to 11 we got to ride 2 rides. After eating, we then were trying to find some other rides to do. That most of the rides by this time were like really long wait times, or they were just not running.
Yeah, they just weren't having the best luck with their rides being operational today.
Then we decided to do this ride called Gemini, which is a word that means twin. And you do these, it's a wooden roller coaster that's pretty old, and it has two cars that start off next to each other, a red and
different tracks.
A red and a blue car, and they're different tracks that are next to each other, kind of, and you're racing against it. And so we got in the back car for that one, and we were on the red train, or the red car. Our car won, so we were victorious, which was cool. And then after doing that ride, we walked down to do the mine train. The worker kind of looked like a younger version of my dad, which is kind of funny. But he let us do the back car, and we got all strapped in for the back car, and it started raining. So we had to then exit the car and wait for the rain to stop.
And the car that went ahead of us was getting drenched outside while waiting for them to send out. They have to send out one car so then they can bring in the other car. So the car we were sitting in, they had to like prepare it so that they could send it out so that they can bring in the next car. And the people were like half in the tunnel and half out, and so the people in the back half of the train were like soaked because they've been waiting outside. So it was like a downpour. It
rained for about 10 minutes or so, and then it takes them another 10 minutes or 15 minutes to get
that was when James
train
said
started.
He was like, you said it was a 0% chance of rain. He was like, this morning it said 44, or when I checked it said 44%, and you said 0. And I was like, I didn't look it up on the website. I just said it from my own brain that it was going to be 0% chance. I said it looked like 0% chance of rain. But James thought I apparently looked at the Weather Channel and that it had changed from the 44 to 50% chance of rain to 0. But I did not. So
yeah, she sounded very sure of herself. And so she was actually incorrect, obviously. And so we did that ride. The ride was okay, I guess, again.
It goes like 40 feet high and at top speeds of like 40 miles per hour.
Yeah, it goes a whopping 40 miles an hour. So
it's pretty epic. It's got some fun little turns in it, though.
It was okay, I guess. I got to smash Kate on it, which I liked. So as we go around the curves, I like just smash Kate into the wall, and so I liked that part of it. So after that ride, we were trying to come up with a plan. We did the Millennium Force again, and we were like not sure what to do for doing the Maverick or that or whatever. And so we got in line for it. It was a 2-hour line or longer, and we got in the line for about 20 minutes, and then it started downpouring.
Like the sky turned black, and it was an insane downpour. Like,
we had these little canopy things that were mainly for the shade or for the sun, and yeah,
they drip water between all the gaps. The rain blows in on all the sides.
Yeah, so
James protected me.
It started raining, and we both like kind of ducked behind other people, and then those people moved, and so then we were just getting pelted with the rain or dripped on from the rain because you couldn't really avoid it, and you didn't want to get out of line. I guess we could have gotten out of line, but we would have got drenched out of line anyway, so we just figured we might as well just stay in line. And so I started like towering over Kate so she wouldn't get all wet. I was being a gentleman or being nice, and Kate is holding her jacket in her hand, and could have given me the jacket so I could have it over my head and my back.
He ended up borrowing it anyways. I had to take all the electronics out of the pocket.
She let me borrow it after I'd been standing there for like 10 minutes.
This jacket is also not waterproof though. Like it is a wind resistant jacket, not a waterproof jacket. And so it's still soaked through, but.
So the back of my shirt was really drenched from being Kate's canopy, and my head was really wet, and I was getting cold. The wind it also got colder outside during that time, and the wind was blowing like pretty hard and stuff like that. So we probably waited for a good 40 minutes, probably, maybe longer. And we got some little boys that cut everybody in line. Lots of people were wet and drenched. And
these boys were like 14. They knew exactly what they were doing.
Yeah. We eventually got to ride the ride probably an hour later or so after they started it again. And we did the back row again. And whenever we did the ride this time, neither one of us blacked out that time. And so I enjoyed it, got an adrenaline rush from it. And so after that ride, it was already 4 o'clock or something, I think.
It's like 4:30 or 4:40.
Because then we went and ate Panda Express again, because we were trying to avoid the crowd or the dinner time and be able to finish our day on Steal Vengeance. I'm finally saying the right roller coaster. So we ate. We went to go do the Steal Vengeance, and the wait time was about 2 hours. And we were able to do the ride in...
No, it rained.
Did it rain the first time or the second time?
Mm-hmm. The first time.
Okay. So the first time through, we
started looking at the weather, and the people in front of us were like, we're going to be in the red in a second.
We waited for about 2 hours. We got to the top. But we got to wait for the rain to go through. And we had to wait probably another 30
we were
or 40
like on
minutes.
the staircase, and then they kind of like let us like shove through and get on the ride platform, and so there was a whole bunch of us all like shoved on the ride platform together.
We had a little sing-along.
We were with a really entertaining family too that we were like chatting with some during it, but one of the workers took over the microphone, and she had a really good voice, and she kept doing all these games. She was playing rock paper scissors with everyone first, and then she was doing a guess that song and guess that artist and come finish the song, and she had a really good voice though, and she was a really good entertainer. Like, she was super fun. And then they traded ladies eventually, and the next lady like said she was a biology major and wasn't very good at entertaining, and so
everyone was getting restless.
Everyone was starting to revolt and was just like, let us on the ride, it's sunny out.
It took so long.
Luckily, we were pretty shaded from the rain on that one. Like, it hit us in the back a little bit, but nothing like the first time. We did end up getting on, though.
We got to ride in the second row. Definitely fun, but it was like probably ended up being like 2.5 hours or something before we got to actually ride it one time.
So the second time we were in line.
We got in line again, and the second time we met a woman who was by herself, and she
started asking us about fast passes.
Yeah, she was telling us about how she likes to do things on Sundays for herself, or
like her luxury
little
days.
adventures or trips. And so she decided to go on a whim. She lives about 3 hours from the park, and she hadn't been to Cedar Point since she was not for a while. And usually she goes with other people, but she decided to go by herself so she could ride more rides and not have to try to reason or bargain with other people.
She thought she was in line for Gemini, which was the ride she was wanting to do.
Yeah, and to that point she'd ridden on 0 rides, and she had just ate and drank some refreshments. And she was planning on doing one roller coaster or one ride, but then she got rained out, so she just didn't do the ride. And so at this point, which was 8 o'clock...
And that was a dragster, so it was probably actually a good decision, because I don't know that they did open it up again.
So at about 8 o'clock, she was in line to do her first ride. And so she
made it through the line.
She did get through the line. She had quite a few interesting stories.
She was really entertaining.
She talked her ears off, and yeah, it was...
She went through a different security line, and we saw her talking the ears off to other people. And then she was like waving at us in line, and we waved at her from the top of the roller coaster as we were going up the hill. And we watched her face as she like did the ride, because we got back in line, and we saw her go by, and you could see her excited look on her face when she was going across the hill. So definitely for her first, I was really curious to see what her reaction would be, because like I said, she had only just ate and drank all day, and then she was
and she
had blisters on her heels, and
she hadn't been on roller coasters
in like
for
20 years, and so yeah. She was in for a treat with Steal Vengeance.
She talked her ears off. She was very kind.
She was pretty fun.
Gave us lots of stories and keeps us entertained.
So after that one, we got in line again.
We got in line again to do the ride. And on this one, we had a bunch of people playing like the heads-up game. And so we kind of just watched them. There was actually several different groups of people playing that game. And so we always get entertained by watching other people play the heads-up, or like charades type game where you're trying to get people to guess what's on their phone, and acting it out and giving them clues and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was both the two groups of people that were playing were different ethnicities than us, and so it was entertaining just watching their dynamics and how they describe stuff.
Our favorite one was spray tan, and the girl goes, "This is what white people do when they want to get dark." And the guy was like, "Yeah, and it turns your skin orange." And so we were cracking up about that.
Yeah, just the stereotypes or how they think of
other cultures.
Yeah, other cultures.
And so one of the guys then invited us to play around once they were playing like celebrities or something. So we kind of joined in for about 2 minutes, and then it was time to go put our phones in the lockers and stuff. But
so we got on the ride again
at 9:44, 9:46.
We probably started at like 9:46 or something.
I saw this girl's watch in front of me.
We got to do it in the second to last row, and it was getting darker, or basically dark, and we like doing the Steal Vengeance a lot more in the dark, and so it was really fun. And we got off the ride, and I sprinted off the ride, basically. We both
sprinted.
Ran and waited for Kate. And,
for like 2 seconds because I was sprinting behind
They
him.
were saying last call, and I had to let some people pass me because Kate wasn't ready.
I sprinted behind him and ran past everyone getting off the ride.
But we did get on the ride.
The only people that got in line before me and James were people that were coming from other rides, not from our ride.
So we got on the ride. Got in line again. They were saying like last call for Steal Vengeance, and it was about 9:50 something. And so
it was like 9:58 or something.
It wasn't quite that.
Cutting it close.
It was probably like 52 or 53. But they were trying to close the ride at that point for letting people get on. But we got on the ride. We waited probably 20 minutes to get on the ride again. And again, we got the second to last car. And
it was amazing. It was like 10 times better in the dark.
Yeah. So grand total today, I think we did like 9 rides or something, which is way different than yesterday. Yesterday we got to do, well, it was still very busy yesterday, but we got to do the Steal Vengeance 6 times after 6 p.m.
And
today we did 4, and we got lucky to do 4.
And it was also like a whole different group working the Steal Vengeance, and I think they had less cars going. But the group last night was really competitive, and they were all about timing themselves, and they were running and racing and like getting everyone seated as fast as possible, and they had like turned into like a challenge for themselves. And this group tonight was like really chill and really just methodical and really took their time. And so we might have been able to get on it another time if it had been last night's workers.
Yeah, so today it rained
3
different times, which delayed our ride time every single time it rained.
By about 30 minutes to an hour and a half.
We still had a lot of fun. Just definitely recommend, if you can, try not to go on the weekend if you want to be able to ride more rides.
And try not to go on a rainy day.
We normally don't like to go on the weekend, but it's just been what's worked out best with our schedule, I guess, and so we kind of just have to. And luckily we have season passes. If you're not buying season passes, definitely go on a weekday. The middle of the week is the best, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. One of those days.
So we'll see how tomorrow is.
We're still having fun though, and getting to ride most of the roller coasters that we like at least once. The Raptor's been closed a lot, so we didn't get to do that today, and we didn't get to do the Top Thrill Dragster either today. So still had a lot of fun though. Cedar Point is one of our favorite roller coaster parks, our favorite Cedar Fair park, and so yeah, definitely check it out.
So check it out, it's a lot of fun. Here's one last view of the park for you guys. It is cleared out, so we're gonna go before the security guards get too suspicious of us, and hopefully tomorrow is just as awesome as today and better, and we get to ride more rides and not get soaked. So
we'll see what interesting stories we have and what people we meet or observe tomorrow. So
bye everybody.